Ever wondered how global recruitment is transforming the data analytics industry? And are you curious about the latest trends and how you leverage these type of trends and changes in your advantage? Dive in with Michael Figueroa. He's the Director of Strategy, Information and Security Services at Toptal as we explore these exciting developments. Welcome, Michael.
Thank you very much for having me, Ronald. It's great to be here.
Yeah, it's great to have you. We would like to dive in a little bit deeper. So can you explain the current status and the benefits of worldwide hiring in data analytics?
Absolutely. I think the key thing to say is that the worldwide hiring for data analytics is actually very, very mature right now. I think that over the past couple of years, of course, companies have gotten very comfortable with hiring specialists globally, and what we call kind of that borderless sort of hiring, being able to have that workforce, that global access to the workforce has really helped accelerate the data and analytics space, which is fantastic. I think that what companies are really gaining a lot of benefit from is from the fact that, number one, they're getting a diverse workforce, which helps not just from what we would typically consider diversity, but from a diversity of thought. A lot of times, especially in the early days of data analytics, things were really, really focused on specific sort of problem spaces that big companies generally in what we call the big buyer countries were facing. That tended to skew the talent pool towards their problems versus being able to look at the problem space from a much broader perspective. So by being able to hire in that diverse sort of environment, companies are gaining the advantages of being able to address certain biases that might be there by just naturally and organically bringing talent in to address those biases. I think that some of the really cool benefits that companies are getting is, number one, it's really access to talent. What a lot of organizations have seen prior to say 2020 was that a lot of times they were competing for talent within very, very local areas. And as a result, when you look at what competition looks like at that level, you would end up getting an unnatural inflation of sort of cost of bringing in talent because you're focused on a very, very small pool of talent. By being able to go global, now companies are able to get the best talent wherever they are and are getting much more comfortable with being able to leverage them. So that's one thing. I think a second thing is the increased agility that companies gain. We know how the technology industry works right now. Things are very, very fast. There is constant change going on. And if we need to wait for that sort of local level of hiring, then you could be losing investment opportunity over the hiring time frame versus being able to source globally. You get access to a lot more available talent right away, which allows companies to accelerate in their data analytics initiatives. It also allows them to sort of really test ideas a lot quicker. And being able to find that alignment with talent globally allows them to really accelerate their decision making as a result of that. And finally, by being able to source from a global community of data analytics professionals, what companies are realizing is that it really does reduce their overall costs. It allows them to sort of look at a global community and get talent where they are, which is generally going to be in a lower cost of living area than where the companies are currently situated. So when they're actually looking for those opportunities to accelerate into new areas, being able to source from a global community of data analytics talents allows them to do so at a much lower sort of capitalization investment.
Yeah, and I like this part where you address the speed. Speed is so important right now. If we see the new developments in AI, in data analytics, yeah, you can't wait a week. Let's put it like that, because new applications are coming to the market. Now, if we look a little bit further ahead, how do you foresee the evolution of global recruitment in the sector, and how should companies anticipate to these type of changes?
I think that when you look at it from a future perspective, and let's just look 3 years into the future right now, Ronald, because things do change so fast. What's going to happen is by being able to access that global talent pool, what companies are going to be able to do is they're going to be able to really address proof of concepts in a much more rapid time frame than they had before. It's going to empower them to be able to test new ideas and experiment in a whole different time frame, at a different time scale than they've ever done before when they're leveraging global talent. So because the global talent is going to increase their options, it's going to increase their options of what is it that they're able to tackle. A lot of times companies are limited by the resources they already have engaged right now, because recruiting timeframes can be so lengthy. That ends up biasing their investments into sort of the stovepipes of what they already have expertise in. By leveraging global talent and especially being able to leverage talent who perhaps are in more of a contractor or a freelancer sort of model, it allows them to sort of augment the capabilities they already have so that they can really attack proof of concepts in areas that the people they have in place right now may not have necessarily had the expertise or the experience to have sort of pathways to be able to attack those kinds of investments. So I think that when we look to the future, being able to have that kind of agility of leveraging that global workforce is going to be really, really important for those companies who want to exceed quickly, who want to accelerate into those new spaces quickly as they're emerging. I think that also, as we're looking to the future, we're going to see a lot more opportunities for flexibility in hiring. What companies are going to be able to address is they're going to be able to look at resourcing their data analytics investments in a completely different way.
Yeah, so when you're talking about these type of changes in the industry, and basically I think the shift in the needs from your clients as well, how is this affecting the industry's future? What kind of changes do you foresee?
I think that one of the big changes we're going to see is right now, specifically in the data analytics space, the change in demand is going to be extraordinary. Just we're seeing that right now because of the advent of these large language models like OpenAI's GPT series of models. With those large language models, what that has done is, in a way, they've represented a sort of killer app that we're always looking for in the tech industry for how you can leverage what really has been a technology that's been under research for decades. Now, the large language models are not great at answering questions. They're great at understanding how language is structured and being able to put things together. You can't, for example, use a public model to address proprietary information, but you can use them in order to help you access that proprietary information you have in new and creative ways. So that's going to change the demand within the data analytics space, simply because organizations are going to start to realize that in order to take advantage of these advancements, they're going to have to advance their own capabilities as well. That's going to extend not just to what we might consider data science professionals or really deep level data analysts, machine learning professionals, AI professionals, but it's also going to be all of the aspects of product delivery and infrastructure delivery that are going to be needed to support it. So from an infrastructure side, we're going to see a lot of change in demand for cloud-oriented data services. So we know that the cloud specialists, especially in the data spaces, are going to become very, very important. From the product delivery side, now we're going to be looking at how do you incorporate all of this modeling into your software development life cycles. And so that's going to require a retuning of your full stack developers. And so all of that is to say that being able to access that global pool of sort of talent is what's going to really be able to help companies accelerate as that demand, as those demand vectors really change over the next year to 3 years.
Yeah, where the end user really demands this easy to use applications where they can just ask a query and get the answers quickly. So this is driving the demands, and the companies need to deliver right now. Thank you, Michael, for sharing this great, exciting perspective on the future of borderless hiring. And for the audience, thank you for watching, and we look forward to seeing you next time.